Good afternoon, Valparaiso. My name is Evan, and this is your VUTV weather update. Looking at our weather headlines this Friday afternoon, we have severe storms on tap going into the evening hours. However, as we go into the weekend, we're going to be staying on the cool side. And with those cooler temperatures, we have more precipitation chances on the way. Looking at our current temperatures right now, we're sitting at a toasty 77 degrees here in Valparaiso, and it's just widespread 70s across the region, with it even a little bit warmer just out to the west, the 78 at Joliet and 78 in Pontiac. And with those warmer temperatures, we're getting that stronger influx of moisture up into our area, and because of that, the Storm Prediction Center has put out a 2 out of 5 severe weather outlook for Valparaiso. We're sitting right there, right in the smack middle of this slight risk. And it's just for the whole region of Chicagoland, and it does taper off a little bit off to our east, but this is our primary threat going into this afternoon. And with those severe storms, we have a severe weather risk of about 45 to 65 mile-an-hour wind gusts. And then if the storms remain more discrete, more isolated, we do have a higher hail threat, and we cannot rule out a possible tornado. And because of the warmer temperatures, there's just a lot more energy in the atmosphere to produce lightning. So we definitely, when you hear thunder, go indoors. And as we go throughout the day today, you can see we stay on the dry side, maybe even a pocket of sunshine as the sun sets this evening. However, as we go into about the time frame of about 10 to 11 p.m., we do have the chance of seeing those severe storms, and you can see definitely with the stronger ones, there's a chance for some hail and maybe a possible tornado. And then going through the rest of the evening and into tomorrow, we remain in that dreary side just with some rain showers. However, the severe weather threat has ended for our area. And it's Saturday, it's just not looking like a day to be outside as we just stay on the cold side, and we're dealing with those spotty showers. Right now in Valparaiso, we're seeing some current wind gusts up to about 26 miles an hour and widespread 20s across the region. And as we go throughout the day today, we see those wind gusts really start to increase, maybe hitting 40 miles an hour up in Valpo. And this wind is just causing more of those temperatures and moisture to move into our region. However, once that system does move off to our east, we'll remain more on the quieter side as those winds taper off. And as we go into Saturday, more of the same picture, just with those rain chances and colder temperatures. And with our future temperatures, we might actually hit the mid-80s up here in Valpo, which is about 20 degrees warmer than we usually expect for this time of year. And even across the region, we're staying in those mid-80s, maybe a little bit cooler off to the west once that front moves through. But it's going to be a beautiful day, but this will provide that fuel for those storms later. And you can kind of see that front, and then unfortunately, as we go into Saturday morning, we're going to see those 40s once again, already 43 in Benton Harbor by early Saturday morning. And it pushes through our region, and we're just sitting at about 50, 40 degrees, and more of the same for Sunday. However, Sunday's looking to be a little bit warmer than Saturday. Looking at our hour-by-hour forecast, we're hitting about the mid-80s around 4 p.m. And then once we get into the evening, you see those storm chances really start to increase by 10 to 11 p.m. And this is the main hazard we're concerned with going into Saturday. Looking ahead, we'll have those southwest winds about 10 to 20 miles an hour and about a 70% chance, definitely a likely chance of seeing some storms, at least some thunder across the region. And on the backside of the system, we're going to see more rain chances. However, it's going to be more spotty with only the 30% chance. And finally, looking at our 7-day forecast, we'll see those rain chances continue throughout the weekend. However, there is good news on tap as we approach mid to late April, as we're going to be up into the 70s by mid-week.